Chapter 8, Paying Dues. We booked our first real studio time at this place called Miller MIDI Productions. 45 fucking bucks an hour, which is crazy. That place sounded absolutely fucking insane to me. I remember the first time I heard 45 bucks an hour, I thought that better come with a pickle buff and a free fucking dinner. We went in there though, it was me, Joey, Alex, Rudy, and Lacey. The whole fucking army went in there just to book the studio. It was so quiet in there you could hear a pin drop. Then this guy came out, this long-haired composer dude with John Lennon glasses, looking like he played in a symphony. He was super skinny, super frail, and super quiet. "How are you guys doing?" he asked. "I'm Chuck Miller. Looking to record some music, eh?" He looked like a music guy. He sounded like a music guy. We quickly renamed him Snake Miller. We all just looked around the studio, the first recording studio we'd ever stepped foot in. We were like, whoa! The walls were covered in foam. The keyboards were everywhere. Alex was like, He was just as overwhelmed as us. He had to assume his new management role though. I started to talk, but Alex stepped in front of me. Yeah, he began, trying to use his deep voice. "We're interested in reserving some studio equipment time." He didn't know what the fuck he was saying, but I loved him for it because he was trying. "Okay," Chuck said. "What kind of music do you do?" "Well, basically," Alex began slowly, "we're a blend of hip-hop and rap." "What's the fucking difference? We're really open to anything." "So you're looking for 808 drum beats?" Chuck asked. Alex had no idea what he meant. "What would the cost be of that?" Alex asked. Like an 808 beat is gonna cost more than a 707 or some shit? "No, I'm saying that's the kind of stuff you're... Here, let me play you some examples." Chuck knew he had some suckers on his hands, so he took us all into the studio room and played us some tapes. It was none other than one of Joey and I's favorite local rap songs, Merciless Amir, "A Day Without a Rhyme."
A day without a rhyme.
Without a strong rhyme to step to.
Step into my world, let the lyrics lead the way. It's a place of escape that deviates from the everyday. A resort of a sort, it's for your mind though, so you relax and max. And me, I let the rhyme flow.
Check it out on YouTube, it's fucking awesome. Merciless Amir, "A Day Without a Rhyme." It's also the only song Merciless Amir ever recorded back then, and he blew up off it all over Detroit, but you never heard a peep from him again until like 2011. He put out an album and it was like a Space Odyssey album or some shit. Nobody understood what the fuck was going on. But anyway, back to the story. "Merciless Amir recorded here?" I asked. We were fucking ecstatic. I don't think Chuck Miller even remembered who the fuck Merciless Amir was, but when you're young and green, everything is so much more exciting. In our eyes, Merciless Amir was like a multi-platinum superstar. If he recorded at Miller MIDI Productions, woohoo, boy! Alex reserved 3 hours at the 45 bucks an hour and put the big ass 135 down. We felt the ground shake when Alex put that money on the counter. Snake Miller was unimpressed. "How many songs do you think we'll be able to get done with this?" Alex asked. This was absolutely the most naive question you could ask. Some bands take weeks just to get a drum to sound right. So Chuck knew we didn't know a damn thing about recording. At least he answered honestly, "I don't know. We might just get the music set up." Alex wasn't really assured by that. "Look," I told him, "let's just wait until we have a session. Then we'll know how much each hour's worth." As we'd soon learn, they weren't worth fucking much. Out in the parking lot, all of us being naive nerds, we were straight tripping out because Merciless Amir had recorded there. I was like, "Dog, we should give him a shout out on our song. Like, what's up, Merciless Amir?" Joey said, "Yeah, it's like now we're part of Merciless Amir's crew." We were geeked as hell. On our very first day officially recording as ICP, John, Joey, me, and Alex all filed into the cramped control room behind Chuck Miller's Star Trek-sized console. We were thinking it was gonna be a free-for-all. We had been coming up with all these ideas for songs for a whole week. We were high as hell to be there, when all of a sudden Joey leaned back in his chair. Creak. Chuck Miller spun around in his little chair and yelled, "Hey, stop squeaking." We were like, whoa. After that, we were just mad silent and mad scared. We sat in there just like it was school detention. Meanwhile, old Snake was finding us drum sounds, one by one. No breakbeat records, no instrumental records, just singular drum sounds. I want you to know that almost nobody, no rap albums are ever made by sampling each separate drum sound, one by one. Cack, 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 cack. He tapped the snare drum sound out on his keyboard. Tell me when you like something, he kept saying, and kept cacking, cack, cuck, cuck, cuck. Like I could tell the fucking difference between a cack and a fucking cuck. That one, I said. What did I fucking know? I just knew this was costing us a fucking fortune to hear cack, cuck, cack, and get yelled at for squeaking chairs. That one, he asked? Cack. You sure that's the one you want? You sure you don't like cuck? Nope, we like the first one, cack. Okay, then let's move on now, he said. Well then, do you want some claps? Yeah, sure. What's a clap, I asked. Well, here, let's find some claps then. I'll load them up. He turned around in his chair, adjusting his little spectacles. Now, are you looking for a high-pitched clap or a low-pitched clap? Dog, I wanted to fucking rap. I don't fucking have a fucking clue what the fuck he's talking about. Every sound, I mean, everything, he'd take another 20 fucking minutes to load up all the samples on his keyboard. Then he'd turn around with his little spectacles and say, well, let's find some more sounds then. Meanwhile, Alex was out cold. Everyone else was just snoring. Our record session had turned into just me and Joey and this guy finding some sounds. Cack, cuck, snap, clap, low pitch, of course. It wasn't as clear to us then, but looking back on all this now, I realized Chuck the Snake Miller was sticking a 9-foot fucking dick with John Lennon spectacles on it right up our anus. When we left that first 3-hour session, all I had was a tape with boom, boom, shh, cack, boom, boom, shh, cack on it for 5 minutes. That was our 135. That was what our 135 bucks got us. Oh, but they were crystal clear sounding at least. ICP fans, juggalos out there, let this be known. Those singular drum sounds we spent hours and hours getting one by one would eventually become the music for our very first song we ever did in a real studio. It became none other than the song Ghetto Zone.
Valente serving ghetto hard street shit. You know it's potent when the funky ass beat hit. Rolling the dice and we's hitting point. ICP out of Southwest Detroit, running with a gang of 20 street hoods. Lookers on my back cause I'm selling them cheap goods. Looking through the motherfucking alleyway. They can't catch violent crazy ass psychopath J, but I guess I wasn't so crazy this time. Now I'm chilling in the back of car 49. Yes, where I'm gripping that metal. They put a man on the move but can't do shit for the ghetto.
Recording this way wound up taking every dime Alex had. By the time we finished our 4 songs, after about 80 hours of Chuck helping us find some sounds, we still needed $1,000 to press them up on cassette. Despite going so much over budget, Alex loved the record, and somehow he came up with the extra grand. Alex had heart from the very first day in his basement. We named the 4-song EP Dog Beats, and we wanted to do a full-color cover. I remember having crazy dreams of a clown running around through Delray. I remember telling Joey and John about it in Alex's basement. I took this as a sign. For our cover, I wanted a colorful clown swinging on a rope or something, placed in the middle of a dingy-ass ghetto. Rudy showed us this perfect place in Downriver in Delray, where there was a rope hanging from a tree with all these factories behind it. We called a friend of ours named Don because he had a little bit of muscle on him, and we paid him to look like a crazy-ass clown. How he got that little bit of muscle, I have no idea, because Don was the poorest person we'd ever known. His dad would make him sweep the parking lot up at Little Caesars so they'd give him a free order of crazy bread. He'd take it home, and the fucking cats would run up his leg. I never saw anything like it in my fucking life. 20 fucking cats in that fucking house would run up his legs and just fight and rip that crazy bread right out of his fucking hands. They were starving. One time on the way to Don's house, John was eating a ham sandwich. He had a little piece of crust with ham left in it when we got there, so he just threw it on the sidewalk. Brother, Don and his dog Thumper looked at each other like that little ham crust was a gold medal, and they both bolted for it. Thumper beat Don to it by half a millisecond, but Don started wrestling Thumper, trying to get it out of his mouth. They were both hungry as fuck. Don was cool as fuck, and I still love this kid to this day. I've lost touch with him over the years, but man, that kid was responsible for a lot of good times when we were young. I hope he's doing okay. We added Don to the group back then as the mascot kind of guy. We kind of figured our group would be like this. John, Joey, and I would rap, and Don would be our Flavor Flav guy. He would be a clown and run around doing flips, cause Don could do a frontward handspring and cartwheels and all kind of shit like that. He could move. How you think he got that sandwich crust away from that damn dog? So we shot the cover of Dog Beats with Don hanging off the rope in Del Rey with the factories behind him. The idea was to put our logo on it, which was a jester holding the ICP letters like a puppeteer. We also needed to make a flyer to promote the record. We didn't want a cheap looking flyer like all the other local bands in Detroit. We wanted a professional flyer with real typesetting. Mind you, this was way before we had truly discovered the powers of Kinko's and the powers of copy machines and computers and all that. So Alex got a hold of the old phone book, and we found us a graphic artist guy in Royal Oak. We brought him this picture of us chilling. In the shot, I was standing there with a stick. Why? Because we needed a prop. Joey was on one side of me, and he had this Kid Rock high top fade thing going from back then, looking like he was 10 years old. On my other side was John. He didn't look anything like a rapper at all, more like Dylan from 90210. That was always the problem with us. Joey and I always told him to get a more fucking radical look somehow. But I guess he loved his lame girlfriend too much to fuck up his pretty looks. So we went to this artist guy in Royal Oak with our idea. In big bold letters it would read ICP with Southwest Detroit right under it. Simple enough. So you want ICP to be bigger than Southwest Detroit? Yeah, we wanted to say ICP and then in small letters underneath it, Southwest Detroit. Well, you know there's gonna be an enlargement fee then. An enlargement fee? Yes, I have to charge you 50 cents each time it gets bigger than one standard type. Okay, whatever. Then we told him we wanted the explicit lyrics warning box to be in a black box with right writing. You guessed it. He asked, are you willing to pay the $10 color reverse fee? Every fucking thing we wanted, he charged these fees. Now, anybody who knows anything about computer graphics or whatever knows all that shit is just a click of a fucking button. But I can't believe how bad he fucked us. Him and Chuck Miller must have been high-fiving each other from the killing they made off us. Fucking devils. We'll see them in hell for sheezy. We just didn't know any better, and frankly, we were so fucking into it, we wouldn't have let that shit stop us any damn way. We even drove Alex's beat-up Cadillac all the way down to Cincinnati to make sure the Dog Beats cover was printed perfectly by the cassette manufacturers. We weren't done yet, oh no. I know I may be boring you, and you may be thinking, geez man, how dumb could these ninjas be? We're the motherfucking millionaires now from all this shit, cause it paid off. So listen already. I refuse just to talk about happy parts of ICP. Instead, I'd rather dump it all on you. The good, the bad, even the stale struggles we went through. We had to get the flyers and posters printed up to advertise, and of course we were fucking broke. We went back to Kinko's. In fact, every Kinko's in the Detroit area. Only this time, we stole the copy keys so we could make as many copies as we wanted. When they caught on to us stealing the copy keys, we stole the machine that you reset the keys on. When they caught on to that, we started going out with fat ugly bitches who worked at Kinko's just for the free flyers and other hookups. The fattest, ugliest chicks too. If it was your turn, you had to go and kick it with her so she would give you free posters because they cost a lot to enlarge. I wound up going out with ugly bitches who worked at Kinko's in cities I'd never heard of. It was kind of just like Shaggy's boy meets girl thief tactic, only free flyers were the score. When we had the cassettes done, the flyers printed, and those ugly bitches waved goodbye to us as we dropped their fat asses back off at Kinko's, we had to get dog beats out to the world. We drove to every single city with a record store within a 100-mile radius of Detroit, and we went to the Denny's or whatever the fuck local restaurant there was there. Then we stole the local phone book so we could write down a list of every record store nearby that would possibly sell dog beats. We weren't just gonna come out with a tape like all the other rap tapes that I collected. We weren't just gonna be available at some few stores like other local rappers. We were gonna be available everywhere, every fucking where, in every fucking store possible. I still wonder what the fuck these other local bands were thinking. Why they'd always put their CDs and shit in only 1 or 2 stores. Do they really think that's all it's gonna take to make it? What the hell is everybody thinking about? From day one, we wanted our shit to be available everywhere. We didn't know what a distributor was back then. We just knew about consignment from our experience with Alex's store, where the store sells your tape and takes a cut. And then you come to collect the loot and drop off more product. That's how consignment works. We knew that eventually our first release was going to be available everywhere we could possibly get it. Everybody was gonna know about it. We flyered all over. You have to understand, this is before street teams and all the other promotional tactics we use nowadays. We flyered everywhere. I mean, we covered the city. Hours and hours and hours. We went to all the local clubs like St. Andrews Hall, The Shelter, Todd's, The Ritz, bowling alleys, movie theaters, everything. When Rudy got on the bus, he'd even tape our flyers to the seats. We were everywhere, hitting the same places over and over again. Time out. Let me just say something. Anybody in any kind of up-and-coming band should fucking seriously take note at this point. If you ever wonder how we made it, it was simple. We never even considered failing. This is very important to me because looking back, I noticed that I failed to really stress a very important point. The point is this. On that night in Alex's basement, when we all first agreed to do this whole rap thing for real, I don't know how or why, but failure was not an option. From that night on, our lives changed 180 degrees. It was almost like you're a thug lost in your day-to-day thug life when suddenly you catch the Holy Ghost. Everything changes. Nothing at all is the same. That's what happened to us. From day one, we completely were obsessed with success. Nothing would stop us. We came bursting through the gates of the local band scene and strictly through hard-ass work. We surpassed all of them lazy fucks within just days. It was like finally busting a nut after 20 years of jacking off. I finally had a purpose now. I was sure of this. No doubts at all. I never once doubted us. Not one time. Failure was never an option for ICP. From the day we decided we were gonna do this band thing for real, I can't stress enough that failure was never an option. We knew in our hearts and soul we had to succeed. People, just know this, words alone could never explain the magical drive we had in our hearts from that day we left Alex's basement until now. It's pure and powerful magic. Don the Clown Guy was poor. You heard about that. Way back in the 8th grade, he introduced me to the Dale brothers, Billy and Chucky and Dougie. They were poor as hell too. The whole family delivered newspapers to make ends meet. They are to this day one of the strongest and most loving families I have ever known. I didn't know them very much back in the day. I just knew Billy and his brothers liked to wrestle and all that. I always thought they were cool ninjas, but I never thought anything much beyond that. Today, Billy Bill is the Don of Psychopathic Records. He's the CEO. Back then, he was just a cool-ass ninja who we really started to hang with right around the Dog Beats era. Billy knew all the neighborhoods really well from his massive paper route that he did every night. He knew where mad record stores were at. Billy, for some unknown reason, suddenly decided to join us in our effort to make it in music. He worked his ass off with us, with no pay at all. Billy was helping us chase our own dream. That was just the kind of ninja Billy is, though. To understand Billy, you would have to know his father, Willis, God rest his soul. Willis raised a family that somehow consisted of all people who care and who are completely willing to bust ass just for a friend. That has been Billy's way for as long as I have known him. It's the same way with Billy's two younger brothers, Chucky and Dougie. All three helped plant the seeds of psychopathic, and I'm talking years before any money, any girls, any tours or shows, or anything fun was anywhere in sight. One day Billy and I were out promoting. That's what we always called it, promoting. I'd say 1/3 of my life has been spent promoting. Anyway, Billy and I were driving through Southwest Detroit promoting, just handing out Dog Beats cassettes for free, and I had Billy pull up to this black kid walking down the street. "Hey man, do you listen to rap music?" I asked. He stopped and just stared at me like I was gonna mug him or something. "No," he answered nervously. "Oh, all right," I said, still determined. "Well, in case you know somebody who does, give them this tape." I threw the tape out onto the grass next to the kid and we drove away. And that's when all of a sudden, pop, 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 shh, Billy's back window blew out. We ducked down and then looked back. The kid had pulled out a gat and was shooting at us. Pop, pop. He put 2 bullet holes in the back of Billy's car before we could get away. 2 white kids pulling up to a black kid walking down the street in Detroit asking, "Do you like rap music?" I guess he figured we were trying to fuck with him or something. We didn't care. We weren't even thinking about that lame shit like that. We just took the bump. Brother, flying in Detroit, there was plenty more bumps to be taken. One time I was flying Harpo's, which is this heavy metal club in one of the worst neighborhoods of Detroit. A singer from a local rock band had even been killed outside the club during a carjacking a few weeks earlier. But there were still shows going on there, so while Karen, my girlfriend at the time, waited, terrified in her fresh Cavalier, I hit up every car in the parking lot with a Dog Beats flyer, available at wherever the stores listed on it were. Then this big security guard came up to me.
"Hey, you can't put flyers in this parking lot unless they're for a show that's happening here,"
he said. "Oh, all right, I'm sorry." I was cool about it. He wasn't.
"Go back and take them off all the cars,"
he said. So I went back and took every flyer off every car. As I was leaving to get back in Karen's car, the guard called me over.
"Let me see what you got there anyway."
I walked over there. "I'm in ICP, we're a rap group." Boom! Out of nowhere, he blew my fucking grill out and broke my nose. My nose is still fucking crooked from the blast. Look in any photo of me and you can see it's crooked. I have no idea why that guy punched me in the fucking nose so fucking hard. All I remember was my eyes watering up as I fell to the ground before I lost consciousness. I started feeling the ground around me for a bottle or anything I could stab his ass with. When I woke up, Karen was screaming and crying, trying to drag me back into the car. Remember I told you about that kid in Oak Park who I punched in the chest even though the principal was right there close by us? It's that element of surprise. Getting knocked out of nowhere by this guy made me believe in that element of ruthless surprise even more. I would have never guessed that was coming. Even today, I think it was just another lesson from the beyond trying to teach me. Be ready for sporadic insanity from other people at all times. As I stated before, we wanted Dog Beats to be available everywhere. People wouldn't expect a local rap group to have their shit sold in the bootleg tape counter of gas stations. We just give the gas stations our tape and let them keep the money, just so it would be available there. We drive up and down Gratiot Avenue on the east side and Telegraph on the west side, handing out our tapes. They didn't have to like it, they just had to know who we were. Just remember the name, ICP. We even went to the most ruthless rundown ghetto stores in Detroit. places where it's half a chicken store and half a record store. They'd sell bootleg tapes in one of those spindle things that turned, and we would put our shit in there. We never even expected to be paid, which was good, because you can best believe not one of those ghetto stores ever paid us for our shit. We tried at times to go back and get paid, but they always had an excuse. The owner ain't here. So if they're reading this, I want my fucking 20 bucks, and let me get an order of them barbecue wings with it. You may be thinking we went a little overboard. Let me tell you from the start. From Dog Beats on, we were better than any local band out there. Of course, it was Detroit, and there wasn't much coming out at the time, even though we were trying harder, putting our shit in more stores than any other band. We'd give our shit away by the megaton truckloads just to get it out. After we sold our first 1,000 tapes, we took the money we made and ordered another 1,000. We didn't keep one penny to ourselves. Every fucking dime went right back into ICP. It was fucking unreal. Now I know that there have to be some up and coming rappers or band members out there hearing this and thinking,
Yeah, all that promoting sounds familiar. We do the same thing.
well, no, you don't. You wish you did the same thing. Fuck you. Each one of us, from Billy to John to Joey to Alex, we promoted 26 times harder than your whole band has ever worked. Combined. Believe that. I could fill up 250 books just like this one with nothing but tales and stories of the endless promoting we did during the early years of ICPs. Holidays, birthdays, sleepless weeks and months, on and on and on for years. So take your little stickers and flyers and suck my dick. I was proud as fuck to promote. I was a fan of Inner City Posse. I even sent a bunch of Dog Beats cassettes to my wrestling homies, Rob Van Dam and Sabu. Sabu was off wrestling in Japan with his uncle, the Sheik, and doing other serious wrestling shit, so we never really kept in touch at all. But Rob Van Dam were down as fuck, and are still down as fuck. He was wrestling in a down south promotion called the USWA, I think. He was steadily climbing the wrestling ladder up and up and up, and I had suddenly switched tracks. I thought he might start to look at me as another one of them bums in the dressing room with no heart for anything. Nope. He loved it though. He loved ICP. He was one of the main people who are actually down with the music, and not just because he was my boy trying to be cool. He would inspire us. He would tell me, Joe, man, you have a shot at something big. Fuck wrestling. It just might not be right for you. This rapping thing though, man, this fucking tape is good as hell. I already knew that though. I knew wrestling wasn't for me. Rapping was. If I was ever gonna sell 1 million copies, I would probably have to promote it to 10 million people. So let's get started. Alex had gotten a call at the record store from this kid up in Big Rapids, Michigan, who was putting on a show at a college there.
Yeah, we want to book ICP for this concert. It's like we're having this jam in one of the college dorms, you know? Just come on down and bring your tape and we'll pop your tape in and you can rap right over it, you know?
We were in fucking disbelief. We were so fucking happy. A concert in Big Rapids? Nobody had ever even heard of Big Rapids, but it didn't matter. We were like, yes! There was another local rapper on the bill called Triplex, whose tape I'd collected, so we were geeked as fuck. We love Triplex.
Motherfucker, thought you could relax until Triplex was put on the dope track. From hood to hood, I ran loose like a killer. A plus pillar, it's time I freak out.
As luck, or more to the point, Michigan weather would have it, the day of the show, there was a blizzard. Bro, a fucking glacier on the highway wouldn't have stopped us. We got in Alex's old Cadillac and started driving through that blizzard. The heat was broken and our feet were frozen together like one big block of ice, and it was snowing so hard we couldn't even see the fucking road. This was just as well because a tire fell off a truck and smashed Alex's windshield. Boom! But we refused to stop going. Fuck that. We got a concert to do, I said. The window was cracked open and it was blowing snow and whistling cold air on our faces, but we didn't stop. Finally, the road got so bad that the car kept spinning out of control. We stopped at a rest area until the snow let up a little. I asked this truck driver, how close are we to Big Rapids? He went over there to the You Are Here map. Detroit is here. You are here. about 4 inches apart, and Big Rapids is here, another foot to go. Wow. We stood there looking at Alex's cracked windshield, or what you could see of it through the snow. Alex, John, Joey, Rudy, Billy, Don, and I staring into the blizzard. We got back into that caddy and decided to keep going. Right now, people are piling into the concert, I said, as we fishtailed back onto the freeway. I could see it. This huge college dorm arena with thousands of kids screaming, ICP, ICP. We couldn't let them down. Of course we had to keep going. Finally it stopped snowing. We were alone on the road. Everybody else, I guess, had the good sense to stay home. It was so cold in that car, penguins had passed out. We had no idea how long it took us to get there, but we finally fucking made it. We fucking somehow found the college dorm. We flagged down a kid. Where's the concert at?
What are you talking about?
He asked. Alex looked at our directions. Hall C, that's where we're supposed to be. Where's Hall C at? I asked. He led us to a door. We got out of that caddy, all 7 of us, bounded up to that door and charged in. Hello, Big Rapids! To our surprise, we found ourselves in a room with no stage, no concert lights, no anything. Just about 30 ninjas listening to the radio, all standing around talking. What the fuck? Where's Triplex? I asked. Oh, he never showed, some kid said. You guys are the only ones who showed. Well, do you have any microphones? No. Is there a dressing room or something? No. It didn't matter. We used the bathroom. Don put on all the face paint, the wig, and had the shiny cane and everything. We put on our hoods. Alex went out to the non-stage to announce us.
All right, listen everybody,
He said, turning the radio off.
all you guys stand right here and pretend there's a line here. This is where they're gonna perform.
He looked like a damn mime outlining our imaginary stage. Then he hit play on our cassette deck and the intro of Dog Beat started rolling.
They got Uzis. They got shotguns. They got explosives. They got access to any kind of weapon they want within 24 hours. We got over 50,000 gangbangers out there.
We burst out of the bathroom in our hoods, and Don started doing his flips and handstands, and we started rapping. All we saw were 30 pairs of blank eyes looking at us like, what the fuck is going on? Nobody even nodded. We did Ghetto Zone, we did Wizard of the Hood, and then we just stopped. We're Inner City Posse, y'all. Peace. Nobody applauded. Nobody said anything. It was dead. Crickets. Then somebody turned the radio back on, and that was it. Don was in the bathroom wiping off his makeup, and we were just in there depressed out of our fucking minds. Don broke the silence. Dog, I felt so stupid doing cartwheels and shit, and you guys are just rapping. I ain't doing this anymore, man. I'm out. We couldn't blame him. All of a sudden, this kid who booked us came into the bathroom and introduced himself.
You guys are ICP?
Yeah?
Man, the show was like 3 hours ago.
You said it was in Hall C,
Alex said.
No. We were in Auditorium C. You guys fucked up.
Well, I said, trying to save face, we just did a couple songs out there. He looked at us, then took a step into the hall. It was fully lit up. 30 kids were listening to the radio. There were no bands, not even a DJ. It was like a study hall, whatever the hell that is.
You did songs out there?
He asked. The kids started laughing.
Oh man, the show was at 10 o'clock in the auditorium. It was off the hook. Now it's like 2 in the morning, man. You guys just played out there? What did you guys do in there?
We just played our tape, you know, and we just rapped along with it. By now, the kid doubled over laughing, busting on us.
That's the fucking cafeteria, man. Them people are just chilling. Them ain't concert goers. They're just students.
He explained. I wanted to kill him. We drove through that fucking blizzard. We survived bouncing tires and wipeouts and the You Are Here map. I was pissed. Alex knew it.
Look, we came all this way.
The kid just stopped us.
I ain't even gonna front, bro. I forgot you guys were even coming. So here's $40 for gas money.
In the middle of the night, we climbed back into Alex's Cadillac and drove all the way back through the fucking snow. Nobody hardly said anything. We got home at about 11 the next morning. That was our first concert. I hate college. Fuck college. Yo, let me just say this once again. That may have been it for Don, but for the rest of us, that wasn't even close to slowing us down. Karma was still at an all-time high. On the home front, we weren't having much luck either. There was this radio show on Saturday nights on the station 96.3 FM. The hosts were named Reggie Hot Mix and Ron P. They had this contest called Who's the Wildest, Livest Kid in Detroit? Whoever won their stupid late night radio contest got to come down to the station. So I was calling that motherfucker religiously trying to get through. Finally they answered,
Woo! What's up, ninjas? My name is Jay, and I'm so live you can see me hanging out of your speakers right now.
Reggie Hot Mix asked me, how far are you from the station? I told him,
Look out your window. You can see me on Grand Boulevard. You see that white house on the left? See me waving in the window? That's me. I'm right there.
I was just saying whatever to sound funny, but they were having it. All right, come on down. You're definitely the livest kid in Detroit. So I snatched my Dog Beats tape and raced down to the station in Karen's Cavalier at fucking 3 in the morning. Of course, I was such a hound dog. The first thing out of my mouth was, please play our tape. Please play our tape. Oh, you're a rapper too, huh? Well, let's get you on the air and talk about how you're the livest kid in Detroit first, okay, bro? As soon as we were live on the air, the first thing out of my mouth was, yo, this is Jay. I'm the livest kid in Detroit. And get ready, y'all. Ron P and Reggie Hot Mix are about to premiere ICP song, Dog Beats. That's all I could say. They just stared at me pissed off. At the commercial break, they promptly had me kicked out of the station. After that, we'd call Reggie and Ron all night long about playing our tape. Finally, after months, they played Dog Beats one night at 3 in the morning, right when the show was going off the air, probably just to get us to stop bugging them. I remember it so clearly. We were all sitting in the dark up in Joey's bedroom, waiting and listening for hours, just like we did every weekend. Every song that came on wasn't ours. It hurt worse more and more. Finally, they played 2 minutes of Dog Beats.
In the city posse got the Dog Beats. ICP, we got the Dog Beats.
No, you don't stop with the funk from the old days. Starting on your head as the beat plays. Yo, the ICP has got the Dog Beats. In the city posse and we playing for keeps. And I know that you're liking this funk, cause I can hear my voice coming out the trunk of your ride. Don't take me for a sucker. You'll leave it unattended, I'ma take the mother.
Q to the D to the OPE. Hitting 03 with the ICP. I like bass, treble, and the temp stuff. Throw a kick it in the back of a scepter bus with that 40-0 or that strong bull. Shooting craps in the back of the liquor store, and I'm hitting. And we'll keep it at that.
You all joke?
Now I'm too dope for that.
Man, we thought we had a platinum hit at that point. I remember I was mad about one thing though. The volume of Dog Beats was so much lower than all the other songs they were playing. What could we do? Why was Dog Beats so low? It was cause it was only on a cassette. We moved on to a more professional angle. Alex went to WJLB, which is still one of the biggest rap and R&B stations in the country, if not the biggest. Alex made an appointment with the program director, Captain Chris McClellan. He met Alex in the lobby very cordially. Come on in my office. Sure, come on. He closed the door. What can I do for you, Alex? Alex started his pitch. I got these guys. They're from Detroit. They're local. They're the shit. This is their single, man. This is Dog Beats. He gave it to him on a thick vinyl record that we had pressed up especially for him. All right, let's listen to it together, the radio guy said. He picked up on the P-Funk sample right away. Oh, George Clinton. Cool, very cool. Wow. Oh, wow, this ain't bad. Hey, do you have a photo of these guys or something? Alex pulled out the Dog Beats flyer with me with the stick and Joey with the high top fade and handed it to him. His face froze. Oh, they're white kids. Oh, okay. Well, we'll call you. That was it. Boom. The door behind him. Maybe instead of getting it to the people who could put it on the radio, we should get our music to the people who were on the radio. One night we heard Reggie and Ron hyping their show. Yo, we got Isham coming down to the studio. Now, Isham was like a superstar to us. He rapped about satanic shit and had like 2 full albums out. He was just the most evil, pure Detroit rapper there was, and he was selling thousands and thousands of albums all on his own. They were getting paid. To us, Esham was larger than life, untouchable, almost even more than the stars on MTV and the radio. The weirdest thing about Esham, though, was even though I collected all the Detroit rap I could ever find, by the time I ever heard and finally discovered Esham, he already had 2 full-length albums and 3 EPs out. I had somehow missed him all that time. I never even knew he existed. So Joey and I raced down to the station to try to meet Esham and his crew. We ran up to Esham and his manager in the lobby, and I hopped right on their dicks. "You guys have built an empire, man. You guys are everywhere," I said. "Empire," Esham's manager James, who was also his brother, said. "Yeah, I like that word. We're coming up, man. Look out for us," I said. "Yeah, do your thing, man. Good luck, homie," Esham said. "You got a tape or something?" I gave him dog beats. "Well, we need to get up to the station," James said. "Man, you guys are the shit," I said. They were gone up the elevator, and we were geeked as hell over just meeting them ninjas. That was Esham, man, right there, dog. Hell yeah. I gave him a dog beats tape, too. Man, they had leather real-life production jackets on. That was the name of their label and everything. They had 3 other ninjas with them who handed us Esham flyers and all that. They were so professional and so fresh-looking with them leather jackets. We were in shock. I don't know what the movie 8 Mile was like, because I missed that motherfucker, so I can't say if it's really like real life or not. But as far as I know what the local rap scene was like in Detroit back in the day, I can tell you this. Freestyle battles and open mic poetry rhymers were never part of our scene. It was never part of our come up. It was all about the players who never waited to be discovered. It was all about people who were putting tapes out themselves. People who were pressing up their own music and putting in stores. Instead of waiting around to be discovered by somebody, they instead injected themselves straight the fuck up into the rap game, the very way Esham's crew did. We followed them same steps, and that's the only rap game I ever remember in Detroit. Real players themselves making real moves in the game, selling records themselves, proving they were able to sell records, and not just freestyle battling in some open mic night fucking rap hall. I'm talking about real players who were putting their product in stores, trying to prove that they could sell themselves and be discovered that way, making money off the rap game, putting their shit in the stores, getting out there, not just freestyling, hoping some superstar fucking somehow miraculously discovers you. We didn't wait around for that shit. We were putting our product in stores like Esham and them, making money. Esham and them were driving new cars. We wanted that life. We wanted to fucking succeed on our own terms, building our own label. That's the Detroit rap scene I remember from back in the day. Real players.